family. It's Miss Nikki and Miss Susie. Hi. And we're here at school today to make a video for you. And we're going to start out like we always do with our song that we do for families. So get ready. 1 and 2 and 3. We've been waiting for you to come to this place. Waiting for you to come to this place. Wherever you're from, we're glad that you've come. We've been waiting for you to come to this place. So we're here to get ready for our day. And we're going to talk a little bit about why you're not here. And there's a virus going around that is making us really sick, making people really sick. So the reason we can't be together is because if people are too close together, this virus will start spreading. And a virus is just another word for sick germs. And this one just happens to go from one person to another really quickly. So we need to not be together for a little while to make it stop. And the longer we're not together, the more we stay away from each other, the quicker this thing hopefully will go away, and then we can be back together at school. So like we've always talked about, it's really important to wash your hands and wash them good, backs, and in between, your thumbs, your wrists. Do it as many times as you want every day. And remember we always talked about coughing and sneezing? It's really important right now to take care of each other and take care of you. So remember that. I know we've always talked about it at school, so now is the time we need to do it. Make us stay healthy. So we're going to say a little prayer that we always do. We usually say a prayer for those that aren't here, but we are going to say a prayer that everyone at home is healthy and taking care of each other. So you ready? 5 fingers here, 5 fingers there. Put them together and say a quiet prayer. Dear Lord, please take care of all the Purple family and their families at home and make sure they are healthy and safe. Amen. So we're going to start with our calendar, and this month is April. When we left, it was March, and now it is a month called April. And today is Wednesday, and it's the very first day of April. So we have that is our school day today. And because of this virus, all of these days, all of these circles, we won't be seeing each other. We have to stay home. But on this day, right here, Sunday, April 12th, I have a little bunny. That is Easter. So you'll get to still celebrate Easter. You won't get to celebrate it here at school, but you get to celebrate it at home with your family. So that is something that is coming up and that we'll be looking forward to on our calendar. We planted, before we left, we planted some celery and some romaine lettuce and some garlic and some onions. We put it in our garden bed, and with all this rain, I wanted to show you how well your vegetables are growing, and the gophers haven't got them yet. I went out and checked. So we're going to walk out to the garden and go look at what is growing in our garden, and then we'll come back here. We'll have a story, we'll sing the goodbye song, and then we'll be done for the day. All right, so meet me in the garden. All right, we're at the garden gate. We're going to walk in, and we're going to go see what's been growing. It open, but I will close it. Someone left it open. Hopefully the bunnies didn't get it. So this is our celery that we planted. It's getting big. This is our garlic. It's getting nice and tall. And this is our lettuce. So when it gets a little bigger, we can cut it, have a little salad. This is our onion. We had another onion, but it didn't grow. So we got one onion out of that. So we're gonna leave it. We don't need to water, because all this nice rain, everything's nice and green and taken care of. We're gonna close this up so the bunnies and the squirrels don't eat our vegetables. And hopefully we won't have any gophers like last year. It ate Parker J's zucchini plant last year. So hopefully the gophers will stay out. All right, we'll meet you back inside for a story and the goodbye. All right, Purple family, we're back in the classroom. Didn't forget to show you our pattern. Usually we have this on the table when you came in and you got to see it. You got to figure out what the pattern is. So today I will look at it and I will read it to you. And hopefully you're at home and you figured it out. We have blue, blue, red. Blue, blue, red. Blue, blue, red. Blue, blue, red. So our pattern is blue, blue, red. And if we had more blue and red, we can go on and on and on. So that is our pattern for today. All right, so now we're going to have a story, just like we do at the end of our day, every day. And this one is another book by Robert Munch. And Miss Ruth let me borrow this book. And this is called Alligator Baby. One night, Kristen's mother woke up and yelled, "A baby! A baby! I'm having a baby!" Kristen's father jumped up, zoomed around the room, got dressed, and grabbed Kristen's mother by the hand. They ran down the stairs to the car and drove off really fast. Vroom! Unfortunately, they got lost. They didn't go to the hospital. They went to the zoo. But it was okay. Kristen's mother had a lovely baby. Then they drove home and knocked on the front door. Blam, 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 blam. Kristen opened the door, and there was her mother holding something all wrapped up. "Kristen," she said, "would you like to see your new baby brother?" "Oh, yes," said Kristen. So Kristen lifted up the bottom of the blanket. She saw a long green tail and said, "That's not a people tail." Kristen lifted up the middle of the blanket and saw a green claw and said, "That's not a people claw." Kristen lifted up the top of the blanket, saw a long green face with lots of teeth and said, "That's not a people face. That's not my baby brother." "Now, Kristen," said her mother, "don't be jealous." Just then, the baby reached up and bit Kristen's mother on the nose. She yelled, "Ah!" Then the baby reached up and bit her father on the nose. He yelled, "Ah!" "That's not a people baby," said Kristen. "That's an alligator baby." "Goodness," said her mother, "we've got the wrong baby." So Kristen put the alligator baby into the fish tank, and her mother and father drove back to the zoo. They came back in an hour and knocked on the door. Blam, 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 blam. Kristen opened the door, and her mother said, "Would you like to see your new baby brother?" "Oh, yes," said Kristen. Kristen lifted up the bottom of the blanket, saw a fishy tail, and said, "That's not a people tail." Kristen lifted up the middle of the blanket, saw a flipper, and said, that's not a people flipper." Kristen lifted up the top of the blanket, saw a face with whiskers, and said, "That's not a people face. That's not my baby brother." "Now, Kristen," said her mother, "don't be jealous." Just then the baby reached up with its flipper and flapped her father's face. Whap, 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 whap. He yelled, "Ah, it's a seal baby. We've got the wrong baby." So Kristen put the seal baby in the bathtub, and her mother and father drove back to the zoo. They came back in an hour and knocked on the door. Blam, 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 blam. Then said, "Kristen, would you like to see your new baby brother?" "Oh, yes," said Kristen. She stood up the bottom of the blanket, saw very hairy legs, and said, "That's not people legs." She lifted up the middle of the blanket, saw a very hairy arm, and said, "That's not a people arm." She lifted up the top of the blanket, saw a very hairy face, and said, "That's not a people face. That is not my baby brother." "Now, Kristen," said her mother, "don't be jealous." Then the baby reached up with its feet and grabbed her mother's ear and her father's ear, and they both yelled, "Ah! It's a gorilla baby! We've got the wrong baby!" "Let me do it," said Kristen. So her mother and father put the gorilla baby on the chandelier in the living room, and Kristen went off to the zoo on her bicycle. Chandelier is another word for light. The type of light. First, Kristen looked at the snake cage. No people babies. And Kristen looked at the wombat cage. No people babies. Then Kristen looked at the elephant cage. No people babies. Then she stopped and listened. From far away, she heard, "Wah, wah, wah." "That's more like it," said Kristen. She followed the sound. It was coming from the gorilla cage. Kristen looked at the mommy gorilla and said, "Give me my baby brother." The gorilla jumped up and wouldn't give the baby back at all. Oh, maybe she thinks that's her baby. Then the people baby reached up and bit the gorilla on the nose, and the gorilla yelled, "Ah!" and handed the baby to Kristen. Kristen jumped on her bicycle and pedaled home. Kristen knocked on the door. Blam, 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 blam. When her parents opened it, she said, "Would you like to see your new baby?" Kristen's mother lifted up the bottom of the blanket and said, "Look, people legs." She lifted up the middle of the blanket and said, "Look, people hands." She lifted up the top of the blanket and said, "Look, a people face." Kristen's mother picked up the baby and gave it a big hug. Her father took the baby and gave it a big hug. And her mother said, "Kristen, Kristen, you've got the baby back. Good for you." "But what are we going to do with all these other babies?" yelled Kristen's father. "There's a seal baby in the bathtub, an alligator baby in the fish tank, and a gorilla baby hanging from the chandelier. We should take them back to the zoo." But Kristen looked out the window and said, "I don't think we'll have to do anything at all." Uh-oh, looks like the mommies are coming for their babies. And everything was okay until Kristen's mother had twins. Twins means two babies. Two babies at one time. All right, so we are done for the day. We're going to get ready to sing the goodbye song. And then we will see you on Friday. The next video will be on Friday. All right, you ready? All right, Purple family, let's get our clappers going so we can say goodbye. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. Goodbye, Blaine. Goodbye, Weston. Goodbye, Elodie. We're glad you came today. Goodbye, Trevor. Goodbye, Sloan. Goodbye, Marcio. We're glad you came today. Goodbye, Caden. Goodbye, Zachary. Goodbye, Ellen. We're glad you came today. Goodbye, Joshua. Goodbye, Dominic. Goodbye, Parker J. We're glad you came today. Goodbye, Parker S. Goodbye, Miss Susie. Goodbye, Nikki. And the whole